Welcome to Cello Staccato with Garth Cummings. Garth is going to continue his conversation from the last time he talked in September, and we're going to talk about stuff from that Rainey Sharp teaches. So, Garth, hello.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. I'm going to screen share a little bit of this document right now just so people have an idea of what's happening. This document is linked on my website. We're going to start with right hand technique here, but there's a whole bunch that we talked about last time. So that's where we're starting from. So and I have it in the chat, so I think we're good to go. So Garth,
Okay.
take it
All
away.
All right. Yeah, so about right hand technique. So Rennie starts beginners at the balance point of the bow. And the idea is to make the bow feel as light as possible and to encourage the arm as light as possible. And the thumb is a shelf for the bow. So the thumb is parallel to the floor. And she'll have kids do this kind of thing just to kind of get used to how light it is, and the balance is really good and it's not going to fall if you do it carefully.
When you say thumb is parallel to the floor, do you mean like the nail is facing the floor?
Just the fact that the thumb is pointing straight out. The nail isn't facing the floor.
I see.
It's just the if your arm is like this, then it's just going to be resting on the pad of the thumbs essentially, or just above the pad. There we go.
Does this look good? Does this look right? Like this angle of my thumb?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So then the other fingers just drape over the stick. And she'll tell people that their second finger and thumb like each other, so they have a relationship going.
Okay.
So that those two stay together. And the base knuckles should be free. So just like we were talking about the left hand, should call angry knuckles sticking up. They should be relaxed. And then it's just a matter of touching the hair to the string. And this is what you get, what she calls the Velcro. So it's just like if you're using Velcro, you don't have to keep pushing the two pieces together for them to stick. They just stick as they touch. So the hair sticks to the string with really no effort there. You're just keeping everything free and light. And I found for myself that holding the bow at the balancing point keeps me honest, because the bow is so light at that point. If I go for the Velcro, but then I mistakenly start pushing, I can feel that immediately.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes.
So it's definitely a case of the Velcro. It's just that lightness and the stickiness of the hair against the string, as opposed to pressing, which is what a lot of what people are going to want to do naturally if don't tell them otherwise. So one thing to check is, if someone has trouble with that, is does the bow have enough rosin? Because the rosin is what actually gets the hair to stick to the string. So if there isn't enough rosin, it's not going to stick no matter what you do. Then you end up having to press. The other thing you can check is, if you've got a good Velcro, is can you wiggle the string back and forth a little bit? Just to see if you move slightly left and right, does the bow stay there?
And then that's obvious. I think it's obvious. So I'm putting no arm weight in the string. And then this is just the weight of the bow that's sticking to the string, basically.
Well, and the rosin, yeah. Now, one thing that I've discovered is that, with going back to the balance point thing, is I've discovered that some of the cheap plastic fiberglass bows that you find in the schools sometimes because they have that little weight in the frog, they tend to
Yeah.
fall. They fall over. So you actually can't do this exercise with that kind of a bow.
Oh, so actually, what I see what I was doing wrong. So I had my thumb. So your hair is facing away from you. Is that right? Is that right?
Correct.
Oh, so I had my hair facing down. I think that's why I was having so much trouble.
Ah,
It feels so. Is your thumb actually touching the hair?
on the side, yes.
Oh, so it's like this,
I mean, it's not going to stay that way.
right? But that's the idea. Is that it just
Mhm.
rests on your thumb that way? Oh, it's very different feeling
Yeah.
than putting it. I had it like just under the stick. So when you have it on the string, is your thumb like this, or is it on the side like this?
Okay. When the stick rotates downward a little bit,
Yeah.
so you get the right angle to the string, the correct angle, then the thumb no longer touches the hair; it just kind of rolls in. So at that point, it's like that.
So like, is this right? So I'm like this, balancing my bow,
Mhm.
and then when my thumb rolls in, it'll do something like it'll
Yeah,
kind of just
yeah.
bend it. It gets a
Mhm.
little bend in it,
Yes.
like that.
Yep.
Okay, got
Mhm.
it. So this is at this point is when I watched Rainey teach in September,
Mhm.
and I would say she had a few beginners. I really wanted to see her teach a beginner. Every single one of her beginners held their bow like this, and she didn't care about the bow hold. She just liked it when the arm was light. So does she talk about in the beginning stages how to approach the bow in terms of this kind of angle?
I think if I were to try to solve that, I think it would be. I've not heard her talk about it directly, but I think it falls from just that you have how you've got the bow balanced, because I suspect what they got is somebody is balancing with the arm perpendicular to the bow,
Uh-huh.
and if you do it this way, the arm is at a roughly 45-degree angle to the bow. And so when you put the fingers down, then you naturally get that angle. But if you have the hand square to the bow and you put your fingers down, you're going to get that. Or if you're
I see.
or opposite, they're gonna go the opposite way.
So it depends on this angle of the bow inside the hand, or the direction, the approach of the arm. It's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I would look at for that kind of a thing, is how they're approaching the bow, whether it's straight on or something else. Like I said, I've never heard her talk about that, but that's from what I'm seeing, that's what it suggests to me. Okay. Another thing about the Velcro, it's a constant, regardless of how you're dynamic, unless you specifically want a special kind of sound like a flotando or ponticello or something like that. So once you find that Velcro, it's there forever. And the other thing to keep in mind is that one reason why you don't need to push is that, remember, the strings are under a lot of tension. I forget what it is, and I think the typical C string is like 50 pounds or something like that. So there's a lot of energy already just inherent in the fact that the string is taut. And so we're just moving that. So we're not necessarily, it's not like the string is not going to do anything unless we put all the energy into it. It kind of reminds me of we talk about how a lot of folks here are from colder parts of the world right now. I spent a lot of time in the Midwest myself, and it kind of suggests to me if you've ever tried to push a car that's stuck in the snow, and you're standing on a slippery surface yourself, if you push as hard as you can, your feet are going to fly out from behind you, and you're going to land gracelessly on the ground. So what you have to do is find the right amount of push so that you can maintain your traction with the ground, but also put a little energy into the vehicle so you can get it to move. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So if you push as hard as you can, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and so then you just feel the stickiness.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great way of saying it, like it's Velcroing the whole way down the hair.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the rosin. You're feeling the rosin. So, and the little bristles of the horsehair. Okay, great.
So to reiterate, the right arm is light, and Irene starts a lot of the students off with the bird wings. The idea being is to get those as light as the arms as light as you can. Just feel how light they can be. Talk about give your elbow to the floor. So the idea is, again, you're not up here, but the elbow is just free and light hanging to the floor.
So this bird wing idea, it's funny, a lot of cello teachers talk about this bird wing idea, but some people say, keep it out or keep. So the idea is to keep these wings light then.
Yes.
So by moving them, you're making sure that they're loose, and then you just want them to float, or you want them to hang, or
it's closer to hanging than anything else. But it's the idea that they can move as lightly as possible. How little effort does it take to move them?
Right. Okay.
So another thing that she'll say quite often, I heard this a lot, is, again, ask the cello nicely. Not, you will do this. It's not imposing your will on the instrument. It's asking the instrument to produce the sound. And when people would ask her about weight, she'll say, the bow only weighs 3 ounces. So if more weight were helpful, then why didn't they come up with something like a log for a bow? Because that would be plenty heavy.
That sounds like her.
Yeah, so.
That's great.
So another thing to work on the idea of the bow arm being light from the elbow is if you start from here, this is kind of the begging dog idea. So the elbow's down.
I see.
And she would hold on to the person's elbow just to make sure they're not moving the elbow. The elbow's staying put. And then you just come forward and touch.
Oh, so you go from that position and you don't change the arms. Oh. Yeah, that's not how I used to play.
So now we'll talk about the scoop, which is if you're familiar with Irene's teaching at all, this is one of the big words that you hear from her.
Yes.
Actually, I tell you a little story. For many years, she ran this thing called California Summer Music. It was a summer festival, intensive program for high school and college kids. And one year, I found out that I went to visit, and the kids had come up with this Rennie bingo. So it's a bingo card with all of her favorite points, and every time she would say one of them in one of the classes, you got to mark that off on your bingo card.
That's so great. Actually, that's the way that and this is even independent of Rainey, like talking in terms of talking points, it really works. you just say the same phrase over and over again. Eventually, it sticks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's true. It's great.
Yeah. So the scoop is basically, we talk about drawing with the bow. Another thing she would say is that, if you're drawing on a piece of paper, you draw nicely. You don't push really hard because that would just make a big hole in the paper.
Oh, yeah.
So this is how we speak using the cello. The idea is we're trying to imitate the human voice, the cello being often considered the instrument closest to that. And the scoop describes the path of the right hand. So it's not really talking about the arm per se, because we talk about with the left arm, the right arm too is also just to get the hand where it needs to go. So most motions while playing are curved. And I'll show you this book that she refers to. It was published quite a while ago, 1958. It was published by Asta. And they did this is done with a violinist, but they used the technology that was available then to make these diagrams
It's great.
of the motion of the second finger and the elbow of the bow arm, depending on what kind of music was being done. And so the point is that there are very few straight lines anatomically when you're playing.
Second finger and the elbow. So okay, I see.
Yeah. So some of these are like front view, side view, and
Right.
for
that's what that was.
for different kinds of passages.
Got it.
So along with that, the next thing that she will introduce are the circles, because that's kind of how you introduce the scoop. So the scoop becomes the bottom half of the circle.
So this is something that seemed obvious to me, but I, in Rainey's presence, just never got it. She'd say, no, that's not it, that's not it. So I guess what I don't understand about this is when you first contact the string, are you feeling the Velcro before you go?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You always want the Velcro first before you go anywhere. That's kind of what that wiggle the string thing can help you with.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, you always have the Velcro before you go anywhere, and then your hand is going to trace the bottom part of that circle, and then it's going to come up and trace the top part of the circle.
So is this? Do you think this is right? I don't feel like I'm tracing the bottom part of a circle.
Well, exaggerate a little more and see what happens.
So you feel that kind of swell feeling in the bow? Because I feel like that puts weight in the bow, and I think she would say don't put weight in. Yours doesn't get louder like mine does.
So it's how it's nothing gets heavier in the hand or the arm as you do it. It's just making that shape. The Velcro stays the same.
Oh, the Velcro stays the same. That's great.
Yeah, that's the hardest part of this whole thing, actually, is to keep that going all the time.
So the fundamental part of this is the Velcro, really, is how the hair feels on the string, and you don't mess with that. And then, is that it? I can't even tell.
Yeah,
I feel like my hand isn't dipping.
It's not going to be much because the string is there.
Right. magically sounded better when I did more of a circle.
Aha. There you go. So when the students get more advanced, you do circles on the 1 finger scale. And so on, and then up and then coming down. Up bow.
That's the Velcro, that makes a difference. I can't do it up yet. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I feel like...
Now she'll say, the way she was explained, making sure you have the Velcro first, is wait a millisecond before you go.
So, yeah, I'm curious too. So, in the chat, Christy was asking, the upper arm feels... So Rainey would say over and over, no, wait, feather, arm as light as a feather, but your arm is out here. So what does your upper arm do? See, this is where you long arm people, look at you, you're at the tip of your bow, and you're like this to me. Your elbow looks like it goes down. I can see it under your bow. Mine is not.
Yeah, it's...
Even at this angle, I have to be at this angle for my bow to go under my... Maybe I'm gonna wear my cello.
Yeah.
Just do it standing. So get the same angles as you. I think that this really, I think that that's something. I think that this pedagogy comes from long arm people, and it's short arm prejudice.
Well, Rennie's arms are not that long.
Oh, really? Well, actually, Martha's aren't that long either. Ah, there goes all my theories.
Yeah, she of course has had long-arm students over the years, and she tells them she's jealous because they can bow without ever opening the elbow.
Yes, I am also jealous. So she does have short arms. Okay, so let's see about this. So, now I have to get my bow hold back. This is, there's a lot of thinking involved for me. A lot of undoing. So, yeah, you know what? Now I can feel it. So, yeah, that's a lot easier. So, my arm is, it's not really straight here. Is yours straight across your wrist, the top of your wrist?
It's pretty straight.
Okay, so I'm doing something. So maybe I should just go this way.
She definitely wants to keep I don't mention that in here, but she definitely wants to keep the wrist intact and not break it.
Yeah. So the circle... Okay, so I think the circle will go this way probably, and then...
The bow circle, yeah.
So, and then my end pin. Your bow is this way, right?
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
Okay, all right. Oh, I'm going to have to... Can I see you do these circles one more time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, and Martha has in here, trace the bottom of the circle. To trace the bottom of the circle, follow the shape of the round string. Start on the lower right side of the string and pet the string like you would pet a cat. Oh wait, that's for the down bow. Okay, good. I was like, oh no, I've got everything backwards.
That's for a down bow, yeah.
Right. So for the
Up bow, you pissed off cat.
Oh, that helps. See, Martha speaks my language, so. Oh. You know, I thought that the arc of the circle, I thought the circle was here, but the circle it's farther over than I thought. It's like, it's over here. The circle's here. I was imagining that it was like right here, but it's kind of over this way, right? Which if it's like I'm not a cellist. Of course it's over here, Andrea. Jeez. Of course it's there. So, yeah. Yeah, that does, I'm putting weight in the string. How do you, so you feel that little Velcro. I did it.
There you go.
I did it, thank you all. I'm like a little child. I did it. Okay, thank you.
Yep. So she was also saying that each stroke starts from beneath the previous one. And she has a whiteboard or a chalkboard in her studio, and she would go there and draw this figure.
Now that starts down bow. The first motion you did is down,
yep,
right?
Down, and then up, and then down, and up, down.
Yes.
And up.
Yeah.
And she would even have the kids go draw this picture for her to reinforce it. So what that does, is it encourages the arm to return to this. I'm going to switch back to my usual, back down to the frog.
I'm just gonna. Does she have them go slowly back?
She until when they're ready, they just go down to the frog.
Oh, they just jump.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like a child. Like, but it's so heavy.
So the idea of that diagram, or that, is that when you go under the previous stroke, it encourages the upper arm to fold in nicely. Yes. So it comes in like that. Otherwise, sometimes you might get somewhere and do some weird thing. If somebody was just learning, they might shove the shoulder up or do all kinds of odd things. But that encourages, and then from the Alexander technique, it's taking advantage of the upper arm swing and the pendulum feeling. So here's where the fact that the arm does have some weight makes it easy to close in, because you're basically supporting the arm slightly and then just letting go, but in a controlled fashion. So when the bow when you change bows, the hair retraces its path.
The hair retraces its path?
Yeah, it goes back the same way.
Oh.
The path that it took going down bow. Because that is something that takes a little getting used to, is keeping that Velcro in place as you change directions.
Oh, yeah, it is that.
If you let the bow slide or do something other than that, then you lose that contact. You lose that Velcro.
Yeah, it is that. So that pet the cat feeling of, do you understand what Martha was saying, like tracing the angle, the curvature of the string? You know what I mean?
Yes, I
So
do.
you're going along this string. So that's
Yeah,
what you mean.
Rennie doesn't teach that.
Okay.
She doesn't do. I've never heard her use that language, but.
Is that what's happening?
But I think that is what is essentially happening.
So the circle, I'm getting super technical, but I know you can handle it. So the circle that you're tracing actually is not the bottom arc of the circle. It's kind of this part of the circle, right? It's more like, like 6:30 to 4 o'clock or something.
It's where where the hand is and where the hair is are not the same spot. Because the circle is actually with the bottom of the circle is where what the hair is doing.
Oh. I see.
So yeah, at that point, the hand is never there, or it's, like most metaphors, it is somewhat, it has its limitations.
Oh, I think I finally see what you mean. So, it really does help as with all of her pedagogy, because her pedagogy relies on having the weight of the bow to help you hold down the string, right? Because it's a heavy bow. It's not a log, but it is quite heavy, actually, even though she's saying it's not that heavy of a bow. It is heavy. So that... Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I'm processing so much right now. Pause. Thank you.
Sure. So one of the things that she likes about this curve stroke is that it has that bit of a expressive swell to it, and it's not, we've all heard people that play with a very direct, straight, unrelenting sound. And when she hears somebody do that, it's like, oh, we need to put some color in there, some nuance. This is it's too direct. So so that's one thing that she would say about that. And then the other thing is the stroke is always from underneath. So you're always underneath. You're never on top. So it's basically 5 or so different ways of saying, don't get on top and start pressing.
Right.
Now what she'll have students do is focus on or watch the point where the hair touches the string. Because that does two things. You get a chance to see that your bow is parallel to the bridge. And also you begin to develop that sense of, that tactile sense of what that feels like. Because that's where the sound starts. All the rest of the hair is not doing anything at that point. So you need to keep the hair Velcro to the string the whole time, and focus here where the sound is coming from. Don't watch the arm or the hand, which is a lot of students will do. And to keep the bow parallel to the bridge, make sure you make a T with the bow and the string. And not an X either that way or that way. And with practice, you get used to seeing that right angle at this point. Early on, she might have to help the students find where that is because of parallax, and you're not looking at it directly. Something that looks like it might be straight actually isn't. But it's sooner or later you learn that's where that is. So another thing you can do if someone needs help with getting a sense of that, how the hair works, you should take a Kleenex and wrap it around the hair at the frog.
Get my Kleenex.
And then you can hold the bow by the hair.
You put your fingers through the hair like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I see how you're holding it.
Yep. It's like it's a very flat stick, and the actual stick will fall forward at that point.
Oh, okay, all right.
So if the fingers are free enough and light enough, you really feel it.
This is just proving to me that I don't know how to go up bow.
Well,
All my
have
uppos,
you never?
I
Yeah.
lose connection. So in other words, I'm just trying to say this as many ways as possible. You just gotta just let the hair do what it's meant to do. Stop manhandling. Sorry, men. Stop manhandling the hair. Why don't we play like this always? Why don't we just play like this? This is so much nicer. Oh yeah, why don't we play like this?
Probably need more re-hairs. So it's
Amazing.
but if you really get those fingers loose and supple, it's almost like you're plucking the string at a distance.
Wait, so it's almost like you're, oh, you mean that Velcro, because of that Velcro feeling, you're like, ping.
Yeah, I mean, you feel here, that Velcro here.
Oh, so you feel in the stick that little pop, just a little release. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or it doesn't release, it stays in. But that initial stickiness that you get, it stays there. It's just the point that's stuck is moving.
You know, that exercise with the tissue just fixed all my up bows, so thank you. So you'd think I never played cello before. I'm a better cellist already. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So that the idea here is that you get used to what the hair's doing, and if you just feel the stick and don't really feel the connection of the hair at all, then you don't really have full control over what the string's doing. So the next thing the show introduces, okay, by this time a student is going to get a decent sound, but probably fairly soft. And so it starts talking about, okay, how can we play louder? And if you got the good Velcro, then you can scoop practically as deep as you want.
good Velcro, you can scoop. So once you start it,
The Velcro doesn't change.
oh,
It
the
doesn't
Velcro
change.
'cause
That's
I'm
always the
squeezing my
same.
bow.
But the
How do you scoop more without putting weight into the Velcro? Did I just do it?
yeah,
I don't know.
it's just
like,
that you
like
just make
voodoo.
the sharp the shape bigger. You're not tightening or adding any muscle or anything like that. That all stays the same.
How did I do that? How did I make that louder? That's louder, right? Can't even tell anymore.
So you'll even say you can, it's a subtle enough thing. You say even just thinking louder is often enough.
See, there's that voodoo silence
Yeah.
again. No, I'm putting weight in the string. So you don't add weight to the Velcro. How did that get louder? So I can't handle it. So I am naturally changing the bow speed and changing where the bow contacts the string, like the contact point. That's how this is working. So as I increase so my bow gets closer to the string when I think, and there my bow speed took care of it. But it feels like circles. See, that's the thing. Like,
yeah. For this exercise, you really want to try to keep the bow in one spot on the string and not change the contact point.
so you feel like you can I know, see, I called foul. You're going to make it louder in the same contact point, not adding weight to the Velcro.
Mm-hmm.
So it must be speed.
It's like getting back to that stuck car again. You're going to lean on the trunk a little harder.
Okay, can you do one that's, quietish and one that's loudish? Wait, do that again. Okay. All my theories are wrong. And here you are doing it. Okay, all right. Challenge accepted. I can do the quiet one now. Thank you, Garth. Oh, no, that wasn't it. That was my G string. There was no Velcro. I'm doing it with speed. You're not doing it with speed. I'm doing mine with speed.
Uh-huh. No.
You are too.
Oop, we got more stuff in the chat.
Huh. Yeah, is it a question? Here's a chat. Is it a question of pull rather than push when you add depth to the scoop? That's what I feel like. It's pull, right? Speedish.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is pull. You feel more pull in that circle?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it kind of is speed thing. I hate to break this down into like all the categories most cellists talk about, but I think it ends up being.
No, it says there's more it's more resistance. So what you're doing is you're inducing a little more tension in the string. So it's similar to how the string feels as you get closer to the bridge.
Yeah.
You know, it's taking advantage of the strings' the elasticity.
Yeah, okay, so Christy was saying, she wonders what you think, Garth. I think in terms of feeling, I have to hold the bow lightly enough that I can feel the string vibrating, while feeling the shoulder blade exerting energy, directing the bow movement, creating the Velcro. Is that the right summary? So she holds the bow lightly enough to feel the string vibrating, and then while feeling the shoulder blade, directing. So Velcro comes from the back.
She wouldn't say that. It's just dropping the bow on the string. You know, I'm not doing anything in my back.
Yeah, it's so funny because I asked Rainey specifically this summer, so do you play from your back? And she said no. But then I don't know, I hear that she and Margaret would go around the country talking about playing from the back. But you haven't heard her talk about playing from the back.
Yeah, that would be a. Yeah, all I can say is that, you know, I've never heard Rennie talk about doing it that way.
Oh.
That wasn't the language she used. So,
Okay. I'm going to have to let that one go. Feel that one later. I'm going to have to
There you
review
go.
this video again.
yeah, I might have to think about it myself a little more. So the next point she does is she's very consistent about asking you to play on one hair. And the idea is that gives less resistance against the string so that the string can vibrate more freely. That's how she explains
Yes, you
it.
talk about one hair all the time.
Yep. With the kids, she'll talk about the MVH, the most valuable hair, instead of the most valuable player. So when you're looking at the stick, from your point of view as the player, what you see, or the bow, what you see is mostly the stick. You don't see almost no hair. And this is interesting because I remember what Avi talked about. Was it with Rick Mooney? He was talking about the center of gravity because it's going that direction. It actually is with the hair at an angle like that. It is pointing pretty much directly to
Towards the ground.
toward the ground.
Yeah, what I feel like after, now that I'm doing things more in line with what Rainey had in mind, I feel like the one hair thing, which never made sense to me before, allows the bow to exert its own weight on the hair. Whereas if you're at any other angle, the bow is falling off the hair. So if this is the hair and and here's the bow stick, then the bow's falling off the stick, but the stick is falling off the hair. But when you angle it into the string in that way, then it's like bow, hair, string, ground makes a line. And so that all that weight goes into the contact point. That's what it is, isn't it? It's bow, hair, string,
and ground.
floor.
Yeah.
Oh, that solved everything. Now my Velcro is fixed.
There you go.
Except at the tip.
So another challenge that we all have to deal with is how to maintain an even sound all the way from the frog to the tip. And what Rennie will tell you is that you can Velcro the hair anywhere along the bow. Horsehair is horsehair, she'll say. So so a lot of the things that we tend to think about not being able to play loud at the tip or not being able to play soft at the frogs, you'd say no, horsehair is horsehair. Wherever you use the part of the bow that makes sense musically.
But horsehair's horsehair, but we hold on one side of the bow. So the tip, though, I don't get that. See, I don't get that at all.
Ah.
I cry foul again.
Okay.
Foul ball.
Foul ball.
So if you're at the tip and you want this sound, okay, I'm gonna say it. So let's say you have an accent, or some kind of articulation. How about at the tip? Well, there, I just did it. But I think I added weight. Could you do a bow? Aren't you adding some weight?
I didn't. This isn't in the presentation, but what she'll do for an accent is you put in just a little bit extra weight and release it at the moment that you leave.
Right. Okay, I'm satisfied now. You may proceed.
Yeah. Yeah, she introduced that to me in the first note of the Saint-Saëns concerto.
So she would say,
yeah,
engage the string a little bit,
and then
go.
Release that extra as you start moving. Yeah.
Oh, I sound so much better than I normally do. It's just the ring. When you put it all together, the left hand, the right arm, all of that. Okay.
So one of the exercises you'll do with this, again, to get used to this Velcro along the whole bow is with the Baroque cello, so-called Zigzag Bow. So you're gradually working your way out, and you get to go back again. And then it also helps get the sense of the arm opening and closing.
So that's to get an even sound. That's what you're saying.
You get used to the feeling that Velcro, no matter where you are. So in the short stroke, it's easier to keep it going in a short stroke, so that makes sure you've got it, and then you can do the longer one.
Oh, it's interesting. Okay.
And she'll actually help a student by working, manipulating their elbow, standing by them and guiding it to
Guiding
get
it
back
down on the up bow.
Well, to just kind of showing them how this pendulum works. I can't do it to myself. I should be holding under here.
Yeah, so it's like this, guiding out and in that zigzag.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, and she might also put a hand gently on the shoulder to make sure that as it's closing in, that it's the arm swinging and not the shoulder starting to come up or anything like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wonder sometimes, really, with the length arms that I have, and when I'm sitting. It feels completely different, and I don't think it's just because I'm swimming in chords. I don't think it's just because I'm used to doing it standing now, but I definitely feel a loss of Velcro. We're gonna
Okay.
use her words at the front, at the tip area.
So that's why you introduce this going out slowly. So you just, as you get used to feeling it, as you work your way out a little bit at a time, then you just work on just keeping it. And then notice, yeah, if there's a spot where you notice that it disappears, that you can go back to that point and work from there.
With zero weight, right? I mean, just.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on trying this sitting because it's harder for me. But okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not doing it, but it makes sense.
Okay. So, do you want to talk about this some more? Or I can go on to the next thing?
Yeah, we can go on the next thing. See you, Christy.
Okay. Oh, somebody's leaving us.
Goodbye.
Bye, Christy. Okay, string crossings. Here's another area where her approach differs a lot from what you often see. She talks about using long and short fingers. So I'll get a little closer. So long, you're straight, short.
Okay.
Long, short.
Yeah.
And this long and short. So that's the basic motion for most of your string crossings. So the thumb, it has to go long, of course. So it's kind of like it's still a shelf. So, but the shelf has to move to a different level.
So are you moving the thumb like this a little bit? Oh wait, keep doing that.
So you can practice by just touching the second finger and thumb together, and do the long, short.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And make shadow puppets while you're at it.
I feel like that's what I do.
Mm-hmm. So the challenge here is to transfer the Velcro from one string to the next. So what can happen is, if the thumb moves up too much, it starts pushing the bow against the first finger, and that can break the sense of feeling of the string.
Maybe you'll get into this later, or maybe we passed it. But does she talk about when you want to make a smooth bow change, not string crossing, but just a smooth change from down bow to up bow? Is you just leave the string alone?
The way she'll talk about that is if you keep that Velcro as you change directions, it will be smooth. But that does imply that the fingers are reasonably free, because if they're locked, you'll lose the Velcro when you change direction.
Yeah. It comes down to that feeling of grabbing the bow with here. Just let let the bow do it, for Pete's sake. Yeah, okay, thank you. That answers my question perfectly.
So when she's teaching this and somebody comes in that, goes over the A string and really jacks their arm in the air, she'll point out that the A string is actually lower in space than the D string. It's closer to the floor. So she said, just let the tip fall over. And she'll have people practice doing that D to A string transition a lot until they realize that they don't have to jack the arm up in the air to do that.
She would say to do it here and
Yes.
nothing this way.
We'll get to that.
Okay, all right, good.
So one thing you can do if you want to get another way to get a feel for this is to just put the bow on the bridge and practice just rolling the bow across the curvature of the bridge.
Oh, so that takes care of that coming around business. It's just really a respect for the hair and a respect for the string that I've not, maybe it was always there and I just never learned it. But I feel like that's a big return, a big refrain.
Mm-hmm. So this comes into a lot of play if you're doing pieces with chords, Bach or what have you. So long, short. So there's no, there's no this, no arm, or very little arm needed.
So very little arm movement, is that, did I hear you right?
Yeah, you don't want to move the arm yourself. It may move on its own accord, but you're not going to move, it's not something you're doing. In fact, she might stand there and again hold on to your elbow while you're doing this.
It all has to come from that that feeling of being Velcroed before you start, which like of course we always talk about start from the string. It's not new information, but I think that all of this stuff today, I feel like her left hand stuff was completely different from what I think about when I play.
Mm-hmm.
But the right arm stuff seems like, of course. That's what I should have been doing, even thinking the way I do think.
Uh-huh.
It's interesting.
So the other string crossing technique she does teach sometimes for certain cases is that you were mentioning the hand moving closer and further. It's generally for that kind of a passage, a barrelage.
Yeah.
So she would do it with actually for this way and not with the wrist. she likes to see the wrist pretty much stay intact the whole time.
Oh, I see what you're saying. How do you do that?
So you're actually extending the arm slightly. Yeah, just going out a little bit.
Again, when I stand up, I can do that because my arm can get low enough.
Aha.
So my arm, if I were down here, I could do this, you know, if I had a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm here, my cello's higher, so, you know, I can have that wrist a little more flat. See that? But less. Maybe there? Is that right? I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's not straight, is
You know,
it?
the wrist is flexing a little bit.
Yeah. So the fingers go.
So from the C string, then reach forward slightly. Just or move the frog away from you. It was like you're going to reach out and open the door just a little bit in front of you.
What am I doing wrong? Is that right?
Yeah. Also, this one, it's not. Yeah, it's not so much long short in this case.
Oh, okay. I was trying to do all of this
All at
away.
once. Yeah. No, it's kind of a one or the other.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. And so here then. Okay, got it.
Got it?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So the next thing, Ivy talked about this a bit. It's our friend the bicycle fingers.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Better. Thank you.
So again, this is much more efficient for short strokes than a lot of people that you see that use the whole arm, you know, to do fast notes. So we got the term bicycle fingers comes from Margaret Rowell's toy bicycle,
Yeah.
and the idea is first start spinning the wheel forward and backward with the pad of the finger and the nail back and forth.
Wait, bring that down just a little bit.
That's right. There you go.
There we go. See, that's the thing about, this is the thing about Rainey's teaching that I'm really not convinced about. This whole, it'll take a lot of convincing for me.
It's not the easiest. And then with that, when you come to with that, then the next thing is to transfer that to the string, doing a kicks forward and backwards.
Okay.
So and then the next step is to transfer that to the bow. Of course, you still need the Velcro.
Wait, let me see you do that again. Oh, yours is very calm.
strokes are still curved, she'll say, draw the world's smallest U's with your finger.
Oh. Huh. Oh my gosh, that curved thing, that pet the cat thing is real.
So
So stiff. See, that's the thing though. When you're going to do fast notes, why use your smallest muscles when they're the ones that tire the quickest?
well, that tires me out a lot faster.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, does it pass the Schubert 9 test?
Yeah, measure 1,684. Huh.
Yeah,
No, I'm squeezing.
yeah, as you would do any other way, is as the tempo gets faster, the stroke gets shorter. So, yeah, right now the motion is a little, it's new. So,
Yeah, I'm just trying to get that Velcro feeling. Yeah, again, for me at least, it comes to if you start respecting the string and then do this, it works much better. But yeah.
So, how I got introduced to this, one of the first things that Rennie gave me to do is the first variation out of the subject. Okay. So, the way that she would do it, though, is quite different than you might surmise. It's a so the short note is the whole bow. It's screwed from underneath, and you actually end up with the stick vertical. And so on. And so on. So that,
Oh. Ha!
yeah.
I see. Ah!
So Velcro at the tip, and then draw that other part of the circle.
I'm like forcing it. Cause I don't trust the string.
Yeah, always at the tip on the last triplet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I think this all stems from my being permissive about crooked bows, and then I think I forced the string to get it started. When I just have a straight bow, then it works out way better. It doesn't sound good still.
So it's a little bit like that accent we did a little while ago. You start from the string and release and follow through.
So do you don't have to you don't have to engage the string, do you? You just can do it. Oh, there it is. Oh, I just got it. Wow, thank you, Garth. I'm getting that scoop thing.
Aha.
So
So she actually uses this in performance sometimes. So like there's this Carabia von Weber waltz that she teaches fairly early on. So if you need a kind of a lifted pickup note, or an up down kind of gesture, you can actually use that stroke.
I see.
Yeah. The idea is that when you're done with that stroke, the bow's actually pointing toward the ceiling. So it's a turn in the wrist. Yeah, so a little bit of the windshield wiper at the end.
All the way to the frog necessarily. Is this right?
Yeah, it looks like to me you're doing it from the arm and not from the forearm, the wrist.
Oh, so you're.
It's like the windshield wiper. So at the end it's right here.
Oh, that's different. But now I'm squeezing. Ah! It's so tempting to. I can't actually. Is it like you're plucking the string with a bow with an up bow? It's like a little stroke?
Yes. And then when this bow leaves the string a little bit, then the rest of it's follow through.
Do you mind unsharing your screen? Then I'm gonna make you bigger so I can see.
Yep.
So I can see better. Just one last time that like. Yeah, okay. I think that's it. Does that look better? Oh.
kind of going like
Yeah.
that, and I'm not doing that. At the end, I'm actually rotating the wrist outward, supinating the wrist. Yeah.
I'm getting above. I don't understand how
There,
to
that
engage
was
the
good.
string. Yeah, I don't understand how to engage the string. Because I'm doing some subversion of this, right? So
Yeah, I think the zigzag thing to start from where you know you can do it, and then
I see.
build on that.
I see. That's a good idea.
You know, when you then at some point you'll get it.
Okay.
But
All right,
it's
I'll work on that.
so the two practice tips Rennie would give for this is, of course, use less bow as the tempo increases.
Yeah.
So the bicycle finger strokes can get very small at very fast tempos. But the other thing she says is that when you're practicing slowly and when you're learning a piece or working on precision, use the same amount of bow as you would use in tempo, so that you don't start, having, you learn something slowly using a nice legato stroke with more arm, and then as it goes faster, you have to switch over to the bicycle fingers.
Right.
Do the you keep the small bow even at the slow practice tempo. So next thing, staccato strokes. The one thing that took me the longest time to get the hang of is to stop the bow but don't lift. So the strokes are still curved. And the shape of the note gives it and the good clean on the left hand gives you that, so it still rings. Because most of the time when we lift a short note, it's because we want it to ring.
Right.
But you can still get it to ring with the curve. If you have the Velcro and the scoop to the stroke, it will still ring.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
And then the last stroke is the slurred staccato, or multiple staccatos in each direction. And what she'll say about that, it's the same as the single staccato, but you just keep thinking of the bow and keep staying in one place.
So think of it as keep the bow in one place. What does that mean?
Don't travel from the frog to the tip for as little as you can. See, I'm not going, this is not going very far. The temptation is to start using lots of bow on each note.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too. Whew.
Okay.
Whew.
You have time for more?
I do. I mean, do you?
Oh yeah, I got a 2-hour head start on you.
Yeah. Well, 3.
Yeah. So,
Okay, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it.
okay, here we go. So the next section is about expression.
Okay.
And her big point is she wants to be able to hear your musical ideas, not see them. So when we would go to concerts together, frequent comment would be, that was a good performance, but I wish I could hear more dynamics.
Instead of
So she doesn't want something that's just, you don't hear any high points or low points in the music. She doesn't have any room for that. So,
yeah.
But at the same time, she still insists on a balanced and efficient use of the body. So she doesn't want to see extraneous motions like head bobbing. She'll come along and put her hand on your head if
Yeah.
you do that. Or waving your left arm as you're vibrating something, Or
Yeah, I'm a head bobber. Apparently she got very frustrated with me.
So, yeah, I think one time she explained that it was kind of like, a lot of the younger folks copy that from their favorite pop artists of various kinds. And she points out that most of those people are using electric instruments.
So they have to create it.
So this is a hand tool, and they're using electric power tools.
That's interesting.
So our sound, we have to do everything right and efficiently to get the good sound. With an electric instrument, you just touch the string and you can fill a huge hall.
Right.
Because the electronics is doing the work. So the next thing I want to talk about is her use of video. And she records all the lessons. She has the student bring in a camera, or these days mostly a phone or an iPad or something like that. And she will record the pieces for the kids. So the idea is that she actually gets them to watch someone actually performing live.
Yeah,
During the lesson, rather than, it'd be a labor-saving device to just record them once and then send them home with the same recording year after year.
Yeah.
But she actually does it in front of them so they can see how that goes.
That's interesting.
And then to help organize their practice, she'll say, okay, listen to the video, play it through yourself, listen to the video again, play it again, and then once again, play it again. So the idea is you don't go too long between listening to the video so it's still fresh in your ear.
Oh, yeah.
And your eyes if you're watching the technique, how it's supposed to work.
And then if you watched while it was being recorded, you've got a different way of listening to that video, having that live experience too.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I like that.
So some other tools she uses. She does use adhesive dots on the fingerboard, and instead of the tapes.
What kind of dots does she use?
Oh, they're like the Office Max.
Okay, just the little paper dots?
Yeah, the little signal dots.
Yeah.
The not permanent ones. And the idea is that what you learn first is what sticks. So by using the dots, you get your fingers in the right place the first time, either in getting in a hand frame or finding a shift or whatever it is.
Right.
So she wants to give you as many opportunities to get it right sooner, which she says will shorten the learning cycle.
I go back, of course, the sticker thing, but I go back and forth like, should they listen to their cellos and let that sonic? I'm surprised about that with Rainey, actually, that she wouldn't just go with the sonic ring of those ringing sounds.
Well, she does that too. Remember the mommy thing, the harmonic.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it's definitely listening for that ring. She's getting that going too, but when you're first getting started and your ear's still developing,
Right.
Is additional reinforcement.
Yeah, my sound is better.
So and she'll say that the dots will fall off eventually, and unlike the tapes, they tend to stay there forever.
Right.
And if the student doesn't need them anymore, good.
Yeah.
Don't put them back. If they still are having trouble finding a certain note, then you can put a dot back for a specific note. And just to help reinforce that. And she'll even do that for advanced students or even myself, I say, okay, if you miss a shift, go put a dot there and go and practice that. And just get used to that, how that feels.
Yeah, right.
And a pencil mark also works
That's it.
on the
That's it.
fingerboard.
That's what this girl does.
Yep. So, 2 last things. One is the watchdog. Well, I don't have a watchdog. I have a watch
bear.
bear. But the idea is the watchdog goes for a ride on your shoulder.
Oh, that's so funny.
And if somebody starts doing this kind of thing,
Oh, I see. I get it.
you'll fall off eventually.
Oh.
Whoops! And the fact that there's just a little bit of weight there
Yeah.
also improves your awareness. You can feel it better if it starts moving when you don't want it to.
No, that's great. I love that.
And the other one is I think we talked about it last time briefly, is that in her studio she has not just a mirror in front of the student, but also one behind.
Right.
So she's sitting in her chair watching, and she can see both the front and the back. So if they're doing some odd contortions with their back or their shoulders, something, nothing escapes.
She can see it all.
Yep,
Rainy's watching you.
that's right. Between Rennie and the watchdog, we got it covered.
Exactly. Forget elf on a shelf or whatever that is.
So that's what I have for you today.
Oh, Garth, this is so nice of you.
Thank you.
And so organized. Thank you so much. I wonder if Cameron and Martha, if you want to come on and chit chat away. I'm still recording, so if either of you want me to stop recording, just let me know.
Thank you. You're so organized, Garth. It's
So
amazing.
organized.
That's the watch bear. Bear.
I love
his
that.
name-
I'm
He's a-
definitely going to use that.
Yeah, he's a pilot bear. Got him from Kitty Hawk.
Nice. That's great. So Martha, you're saying on this thing, I think that's the only thing I truly just didn't get today is this, like, this finger.
There.
There
Now
you
you
go.
have it.
That's fine.
Yeah, before you were just keeping your elbow at a constant
I was
angle.
trying to do it with my fingers, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. And then the finger thing is separate then, is that right, Garth?
Yes. Yes, so that's most of the time that's what she would use.
Would be finger stuff?
Yeah. Yep, the long, short fingers.
This is where I come from, is this. I get that. It's just this, like, idea of...
That last one was good because the arm actually went out a little bit.
Wait, why was it
Yeah,
good?
yeah. So the elbow's actually coming forward just a tiny bit.
Oh. Oh, I see. Why does it sound so bad? Oh, jeez.
Drinking from the fire hose.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. But it's great. The thing is that whole, feeling like there's no need to force the string. It's so true. I started teaching. I'm actually known now among my friends, so that I'm trying to convince them the bow hold doesn't matter. What matters is what the string feels like under the hair. And so now my friend, when I go traveling to teach or whatever, I say, the bow hold doesn't matter. I'm learning all these new things. It's really, it's blowing my mind. And you could hold the bow like this and still get a great sound. And they're like, so when you go into your class and this kid has this bow hold, you're not going to fix it? I'm like, well, I really don't care as much anymore about the bow hold. And it's helping. I mean, but I do.
Well, if they can get
it matters. It does matter.
You can keep the Velcro going from one end to the other and through the bow changes, then they're successful.
Yeah, because when the bow hold matters is when the bow comes off the string and needs to reattach to the string. But
But
once
it
the bow is
also-
on the string,
yeah.
it doesn't matter how you hold the bow.
But
'cause you
it
should-
but also matters if you want to do that long, short business.
Like
Or
string
the
crossings.
finger strokes.
like
Because the
Thinking,
fingers,
Andrea, if you can do your slide the slug, and if you can do Garth's, up bow and then flipping it up, if you
Right.
can do that, you're gonna find a way to hold the bow that's really efficient.
It's true.
You're not gonna be holding it in the back of your hand,
Right. That's true.
I
So
think
if
it's
they
just
have that challenge, they'll be able to they'll figure it out.
and the Velcro thing to like the tactile, just sort of feeling that in your fingers. I think is the most critical, like to get that sort of sensation, sort of
Yep.
takes
I think
care
you're
of
right.
everything.
That's everything. I mean, it's what I teach, but it's one step or 10 steps more refined. Because I'm
Yeah.
teaching to feel that with muscle. But you can feel that without all the muscle. Like even there I'm like holding my arm up. Why am I holding my arm up? I don't need that. Oh, it's fabulous. Thank you so much, Garth.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm gonna unpack this. I was just practicing right before this, and now I was gonna go to sleep right after this, but now I'm gonna have to practice some more. I usually don't like practicing, but it's like all this new stuff. It's fascinating. I played that opera, the outdoor opera,
Yeah.
and I played it standing, which was fun. And I could do all of these. I was mostly thinking about my left hand because I because of you, Garth. I could do so many things, and I wasn't squeezing, and I was so relaxed in playing. Now, granted, we were playing, it wasn't the hardest music. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard. But and the same 7 minutes 50 times. But still, it was so nice to not have to work. It's so freeing. After all of this, put the string into the fingerboard and put the bow into the string, and I hear it now. I hear it even in cellists that I respect. And I'm like, you're squelching your sound. Why are you doing that? Rainey would always tell me, why are you talking like this? Why are you talking like this? I was like, you make me cry. But it's true, and then I hear that sound everywhere, and I think there's no need. Especially like little kids, and you see them, they're getting tired, and you don't need to work that hard. Life is short.
I've been using your statement about Garth's statement about being a lazy cellist.
Yeah, that's
I've been telling
my favorite Rennie quote. You have to be lazy to play the cello.
Yeah, we sit to play too. We have to. But not anymore. Thank you, Mike Block.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Garth, I cannot believe it. I thank you. You're incredible, and I really appreciate all of this work that you put into this, preparing this.
Sure. Well, we'll all have to keep in touch, of course.
Yeah. So when this is over, Garth, I'll make a pilgrimage out to see you.
Okay.
Rainey. I wonder if Rainey. I was thinking about today. I was like, I hope she's okay that we're talking about her like this and all this stuff. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. It's nice to see you guys.
Thanks
Okay.
for letting me invade.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.